Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spock with Wiki Comic Book Roundup. And let's get started with this week's X-Men books, as well as Alien and Star Wars. Kicking things off, we've got Planet-Size X-Men, a Hellfire Gala tie-in. So, the gala's in full swing. Various luminaries are there, from the superhero world, as well as diplomats and celebrities. I'm just going to go with a quick version of this. Over the span of 4 days, the X-Men terraformed Mars. In the 4 days leading up to the Hellfire Gala, the X-Men terraformed Mars. And they transported Arakko there. And when I say they terraformed Mars in 4 days, I don't mean they started the terraforming process. They got it ready to support life in 4 days. Among those involved were, of course, Magneto, to add iron and nickel to Mars' core, Vulcan and Hope, Iceman, let's see, Jamie Braddock, aka Monarch, Laktuka the Knower of Arakko, as well as Sylvanar of the Depths, and Nilo, first defender of this broken land, all from Arakko. Storm, Elixir, Exodus, Kid Omega, and yeah, that's everyone involved. Let's see. The Hellas Basin is transformed into Lake Hellas and becomes a diplomatic hub, or the diplomatic ring, where the Sol system hopes to end wars before they begin. Diplomats receive the full protection of their station while Lake Hellas patrol beyond its borders, and they are subject to Iraqi law. Sword Station 2 is created by Jamie Braddock in orbit of Mars. And finally, Port Prometheus, someplace for people to land. And it turns out that the fireworks display was actually all in attendance, getting to see through Iceman's eyes what was going on Mars. There's a data burst on all spectrums from Sword Station 2. Arakko is the first mutant world. It had no landings at the Port Prometheus. Arakko is the capital of the solar system. Hold fast for a message from the Regent of Sol. There's also a letter from the X-Desk. The big thing is wondering if the U.S. is going to recognize Krakow's claim on Mars. And if so, will they refer to it as planet Arakko? It's suggested that the State Department advised before the wrong mouthpiece gets on a Sunday morning talk show and blabs them into trouble. JPL, disappointed that Krakow claimed the planet, as a lot of them are sympathetic to the Krakowan cause. They'd like to go on record that from day one they'd like to be able to visit for scientific purposes. And that is where the issue ends. I honestly had no idea what to expect, but I will say this: yeah, they're definitely planning much as how I'm kind of turning my note. How I'm a little irritated with the Batman books for basically setting up all the stuff we already saw in Future State. The X books are basically creating a lot of the stuff that we saw are beginning to set into motion a lot of the plot points brought up in the two future timelines in Powers of 10. Anyways, moving on, we've got our next book, New Mutants number 19. Again, it's a Hellfire Gala book. However, it does still link to the current story arc. The big things are Warlock is trying to bond with everyone, but it's finally he talks to, but after talking with Warpath, he just opts to maybe actually talk to Doug, as well as Bay. Mirage and Wolfsbane talk about how Wolfsbane didn't. Wolfsbane asked for Mirage's help, and Mirage had to bail on her at the last minute. And it's understandable, and it's understood, but she's also trying, and she does. Okay, so what were you told? And it's complicated, basically. There's a group. There's a little bit from the New Mutants Forever group chat after the vote. Apparently, Sunspot and Cannonball both voted for Sunspot. Magic voted for Marrow. Moonstar for Sync. Wolfsbane for Polaris. Karma for Penance. With a little laugh emoji afterwards. Tempo. Dougie voted for Tempo. So, yeah. Cypher is Team Tempo. Uh-huh. And Magma voted for Sunfire. Magic and Karma also embarrass an artist who's trying to be edgy just for the sake of being edgy. But so yeah. But Warlock and Wolfsbane managed to mend fences. Also, it's noted that Scout isn't present. Because she's not one to turn on an all-you-can-eat buffet. Later, the New Mutants are trying to get Warpath out of his suit, but Mirage is able to pull it off. Back on the island, everyone's trying to find Gabby, though, and there's a note that was left for Laura. Kind of talking about what's been going on. Gabby feels like Laura's been a little distant since she got back from being gone. But the students find something at the boneyard. Gabby's body. And that is where the issue ends. Brings us to our next book, X-Corp number 2. Where we left off, X-Corp had unveiled their mobile base of operations after having lost one of their labs in the Savage Land, however. So, basically, Monet and Warren are doing are interviewing potential members of the board. Madrox is trying to keep his various dupes under control. Trinary is kind of working alongside, is piggybacking on stage gate data to keep an eye on who's going where. The meeting schedule, we've got Neil Shara, Thunderbird, Roberta DaCosta, Sunspot, Celine Gallio, Black Priestess, Sarah St. John of Noble East Pharmaceuticals, and Jason Wingard, Mastermind. Bucking for a meeting is none other than Fenris, however, but yeah. No one wants them involved. However, they do post Sarah St. John. Mastermind makes actually one hell of a pitch. Gives everyone their card. Kind of like, hey, you'll be happy you got it when you've got it. But turns out one member of the Fenris register as one signal, not as two, even though they are two. So they've got eyes on Andreas von Strucker, but not on Andrea. Andrea has infiltrated the X-Corp headquarters, intending to go after Monet, but she ends up going after Trinary. And she brings up the fact that, yeah, we're not allowed to kill humans, but we can kill other mutants all we want. But in her penance form, Monet takes on Andreas. Like I said, Sarah St. John gets poached by Sarah St. John's been hired on by Nobles, and basically they're hiring on Fenris Consulting. This eventually leads to a fight between Warren and Andreas, with Mastermind present. Turns out they weren't at the party when they were talking. The fight is Warren wins the fight. Monet's impressed because he didn't turn into Archangel, and as Monet leaves, Trinary, and Madrox leave, however, we learn that, well, he did, and Mastermind created an illusion for everyone to see that he hadn't. And that is where the issue ends. Which brings us to our next book. Outside of the Marvel Universe, we have Alien #4. Where we left off, Cruz had just been saved by a familiar face, Bishop. So on the station, Bishop, Hamilton, and Cruz are trying to make their way to find Danny, and also recover Chestburster. They make their way into the nest, but all of the cocoon victims, all of those cocooned, are dead. Until they find Danny with a facehugger on him. Cruz is about to kill him, but Bishop stops him. Around the time that Iris shows back up, also offering to shoot him. But Cruz and Bishop get into a bit of a fight, and that wakes up the xenomorphs hiding in the walls, which come after them. They deal with the xenomorphs coming at them. They free Danny from the cocoon. Plan is get to the shuttle, get him off, get all of them off the ship. Bishop is damaged by one of the aliens. Some acid burns as well as a slice across the gut. They arrive at the docking bay, get to the shuttle, only to discover the xenomorphs inside when Hamilton opens it, and a xenomorph steps out and promptly kills him. Cruz's new plan is for Iris and Bishop to get to one of the exec pods, get the escape pod and med bay ready to go. He'll take the long way, give them time to be able to do that. However, or giving Bishop his authorization. However, the Alpha is awake, and it's coming. We also get our first look at the Alpha, which... That said, I do kind of feel like something Marvel or Disney is doing with some of its more recently acquired properties is doing their own spin on previous stories. War of the Bounty Hunters, the Alpha, yeah. So I just realized I skipped my reviews on my actual reviews as opposed to what happened. Planet Size X-Men was amazing. That was by and far just wow. New Mutants was good. Definitely curious to see how things continue. Same with X-Corp. Alien was also good. I do criticize the fact that it does kind of seem like they're kind of taking concepts from one of the old Dark Horse books and repurposing it, but it does very much kind of seem like just make a few changes so it's not obvious, so it doesn't look like you copied me, And our last book for the video, Star Wars #14. where we left off, Han, Luke, and Chewie had, or not Han, Luke, and Chewie, Luke, and 3PO had gone to Narshada in search of Han Solo. Came up empty-handed. In Bounty Hunters, they also, it turns out, were bumped into Dengar and Valance. But, so it turns out that Amilyn Holdo, Admiral Holdo from The Last Jedi, has contacted Princess Leia, having just learned of the upcoming auction. Told her who and where. Chewie is not pleased to find out Crimson Dawn, but they suggest that maybe Lando could help. After all, Lando has connections with people like that. He agrees, but he's got some other stuff to take care of. At the time, basically leaving a package for Jabba the Hutt in orbit. Turns out the package is a droid who recently who was able to kind of push away Lobot's implants. He does so briefly, but as he gets further from the ship, the implants push back. So Lando's trying to get the droid back so he can fix what's happened to Lobot. But yeah, Black Sun ship appears comes out of hyperspace right in front of the Falcon. The Falcon scrapes against it. Some Black Sun ships chase it. They crash, and they end up pretty within walking distance of Crimson Dawn's mobile base of operations. Not a bad issue. Good setup. There's mention of some of the events from Solo. Kessel, for example, L3. The dealings with Crimson Dawn in Solo as well, including Dreyer, at that time seemingly the leader. But yeah, fun stuff. Little bit of catch up, and that will do it for this part of the roundup. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal account in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.